Shabbat Shalom. There's a, okay, I'll stand here. Max, you got me over here? Okay. I like to walk around sometimes. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm almost ready. I'm almost ready for a deep breath. I'm going to tell you a joke first. You know that the parts that I do, once we get to, and there's a reason, and it's partially because of some of the people here. Once we get to the part of the service where we're worshiping, I try not to interrupt much. Before we get to the official beginning of the service, I like to teach a little bit. But at the very, very beginning, before I take my deep breath, that's where I feel like I can even tell a joke. I'm giving you a disclaimer there. And I think that it ties in a little bit with what I'd like to do. So the joke was this, and I hope you don't take offense. It's not supposed to be offensive. The joke is, why do Jews have short necks? So, nobody took offense, right? I hear more laughing than grumbling. All right, so the reason I'm telling that is that it has something to do with the fact that I have been thinking a lot about what it means to be Jewish and what it means to actually to not be Jewish. What does it take to not be Jewish, and what does it take to be Jewish? And one of the things that strikes me about being Jewish that I love, and in my conversations, and I've had some very intense conversations over the past few weeks especially, one of the things that I've realized is that we like to ask questions. Did you notice that? Jews ask questions a lot. And I like to think that sometimes the questions are more important than the answers even. Because you know that I think that sometimes the same question can have many answers, which drives some people crazy. And sometimes I feel better about a time when I've had a discussion with when we've presented more questions than we have answers. I love that part about Judaism, that's what kind of is our comfort zone, is the questions sometimes. And it's not to say we don't have answers. We're really good at answers. You know that joke about, you put two Jews in a room and you get 3 opinions every time. So that's 3 answers for 2 Jews. We do have answers. But I love that we have some questions. I love the fact that we can answer the same question differently every time we see it. So today, my mood is supposed to be about the questions. At least that's my intention. By the time I get to what I want to tell you later, I hope that I remember the questions. But after I take my deep breath, I may not remember anything that I wanted to say. So these are the things we have to remember today. Don't let me forget the prayers that we're supposed to say, because sometimes I leave some out. But it's also Simcha Shabbat. It's the first Friday night that we have in September. And every time I say September, and that we're already in the month of Elul, my heart gets a little bit I just excited. Let's just say it's excited because we're getting closer and closer to Rosh Hashanah. And there's pressure for Rosh Hashanah. We have to do the right thing. Are we asking all the right questions? Are we getting all the right answers? That's what I want to know. So everybody, please help me out. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. One more time. Let it out slowly. It's Shabbat. It's really Shabbat. I'm so happy. We are back to September, which means we get a chance again. It's not just us. It's not just cozy us and our informal-ish selves over the summer, but we again have blessers that we honor for the candles and for the wine and to sanctify Shabbat. And this week, we're inviting Debbie DeLynn and Herb Miller to come up, and Herb Miller's helpers are coming up to help us with the blessings. So we're going to turn to page 82 as everybody comes up. Come on up, Debbie. Debbie, you doing it from there or from up here?
I'll do it from here, but I'll turn around.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. And you're going to stand by the candles while Miss Debbie is going to be saying the blessing from there. And hold on a second. Herb, would you do me a favor, make sure that the microphone is on? I want to remind you that we are live streaming the services, so we need microphones in order for people to hear. Oh, good. You got it? Yes. we're on.
I feel better now.
So page 82, and our tradition is please rise for these. If we were at home, everybody would be standing up for candles and for wine.
These lights are only flickering flames, yet flames illumine our uncertain steps. Flames remind us of Sabbaths long ago and of their beauty that delighted our hearts. May they inspire us to work for the great Sabbath of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You hallow us with your mitzvot and command us to kindle the Sabbath lights.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. I open my eyes, I see flamey candles. We now turn to page 165, as parts of the Miller family are going to help us with the Kiddush. And I want to let people know that when you do these blessings, I give you the option of doing it in Hebrew or English or some combination, and Herb is going to lead us in the Hebrew, he said. Herb and family.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodesho, b'hava uvratzon in kalanu, zikaron lama'aseh v'reshit, kihu yom tequila, Lamikra Kodesh, Zeker Letziat Mitzrayim, Kivanu Vakarta, V'otanu Kidashta, Mikol Hamim, V'shabbat Kodshecha, B'hava Uvratzon, in Chaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat.
L'chaim. You want to read what he just said? It's on page 166 in English. I forgot to tell you that. Read fast. Because now I would like you to say Shabbat Shalom or Good Shabbos to the people that you came in with and the people who didn't come in with you. Make sure everybody gets a Shabbat Shalom. Wave or shake. Good Shabbos. Shabbos. Good Shabbos. Yeshkach. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. Shabbos. I'm going to turn this off for now. And then we will continue on page 83. And see if you notice how many questions we ask in this service. Eternal God, who may abide in your house? Who may dwell in your holy mountain?
Those who are upright, who do justly, all whose hearts are true.
Who do not slander others, nor wrong them, nor bring shame upon their kin.
Who give their word, and come what may, do not retract.
Who do not exploit others, who never take bribes.
Those who live in this way shall never be shaken.
There are days when we seek material things and measure failure by what we do not own.
On Shabbat we wish not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature with reckless greed.
On Shabbat we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we think only of ourselves.
On Shabbat we open our hearts to the needs of others.
Therefore, we welcome Shabbat.
Day of rest, day of joy, day of peace.
We welcome the angels that accompany us on Shabbat.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Halachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Halachim,
HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nile Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The synagogue is the sanctuary of Israel. Born of our longing for the living God, it has been to Israel throughout our wanderings a visible token of the presence of God in our people's midst. Its beauty is the beauty of holiness. Steadfast it has stood as the champion of justice, mercy, and peace.
Its truths are true for all people. Its love is a love for all people. Its God is the God of all people, as it has been said, my house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples.
Let all the family of Israel, all who hunger for righteousness, all who seek the eternal, find God here, and here find life. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah,
Amen.
ve'alma divra chiruteh, v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chaye b'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala, ba'agala, uvizman kariv, v'meru, amen. Yehe shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'alam u'almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpahar, v'yitramam, v'yinaseh, v'yitadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yit'halal, shemeh dekudesha, brichu, la'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiron be'alma, v'meru, amen. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Leolam Vaed. Oh God, how can we know you? Where can we find you? You are as close to us as breathing, yet you are farther than the farthermost star. You are as mysterious as the vast solitudes of night, yet as familiar to us as the light of the sun. To Moses you said, you cannot see my face, but I will make all my goodness pass before you. Even so does your goodness pass before us, in the realm of nature and in the joys and sorrows of life. When justice burns within us like a flaming fire, when love evokes willing sacrifice from us, when to the last full measure of selfless devotion we demonstrate our belief in the ultimate triumph of truth and righteousness, then your goodness enters our lives and we can begin to change the world. And then you live within our hearts, and we, through righteousness, behold your presence. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. You may be seated unless you're in my Bet class. I see at least 3 people, and no, Mary Beth, you're not in my class anymore. Sorry. She got all excited. She said, please let me come up. I know, I saw that, and you're like, sorry about that. You ready? All right, so here we have Garrett's bar mitzvah is in October, and Grayson and Mackenzie's benot mitzvah is in December, and they're going to lead us in the Vahafta. Go ahead.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם מרמך, ודיברת בם בשבתך ובביתך, ובלכתך ובדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו אותותיו בעיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Good job, everybody. Don't be scared. It was easy. You did a good job. See? Easy. We read together in English. You shall love your eternal God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your being. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be symbols before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I am your eternal God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your eternal God. I, the Eternal One, have called you to righteousness and taken you by the hand and kept you. I have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations.
We are Israel, witness to the covenant between God and God's children.
This is the covenant I make with Israel. I will place my Torah in your midst and write it upon your hearts. I will be your God, and you shall be my people.
We are Israel. Our Torah forbids the worship of race or nation, possessions or power.
You who worship gods that cannot save you, hear the words of the Eternal One. I am God, there is none else.
We are Israel. Our prophets proclaimed an exalted vision for the world.
Hate evil and love what is good. Let justice well up as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream.
We are Israel, schooled in the suffering of the oppressed.
You shall not oppress your neighbors nor rob them. You shall not stand idle while your neighbor bleeds.
We are Israel, taught to beat swords into plowshares, commanded to pursue peace.
Violence shall no longer be heard in your land, desolation and destruction within your borders. All your children will be taught of your God, and great shall be the peace of your children.
We are Israel, O God, when we are witnesses to your love and messengers of your truth.
You are my witnesses, says the Eternal One, and my servant whom I have chosen. Know me, therefore, and put your trust in me.
We are Israel, O God, when we proclaim you, God our Redeemer, as did our ancestors on the shores of the Red Sea. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele, malchutecha ra'uv anecha, bokei ayam lifnei Moshe, tzelianu ve'ameru, Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch, leolam va'ed. V'ne'amar, and it has been said, the Eternal One delivered Jacob and redeemed us from the hand of one stronger than ourselves. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel. May we lie down this night in peace and rise up to life renewed. O God, spread over us your shelter of peace,
of quiet and calm, and bless us with rest. And let a time come when morning will bring no word of war or famine or anguish, a time of happiness, of contentment and rest. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. We give thanks for the night and its rest, and the promise of peace for all the world. Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Please rise for the tefillah, which begins on page 93. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, v'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומשיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. God of all generations, of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, of Sarah, Rebekah, Leah, and Rachel, be praised. Your wondrous creative power fills heaven and earth.
God of life and death, be praised. Through us send help to the falling, healing to the sick, freedom to the captive. Confirm your faithfulness to those who sleep in the dust.
Awesome and holy God, be praised. With acts of love and truth, we hallow your name. As it is said, be holy, for I, your eternal God, am holy.
God of times and seasons, be praised. Enable us through Sabbath rest to explore and learn and impart the meanings of your Torah. Make our hearts ready to serve you this day and all days.
God who answers prayer, be praised. May we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God.
Source of life and its wonders, be praised. You are the miracle within all we behold. You are goodness. You are compassion. We give thanks to you forever.
God of peace, of justice, and of love, be praised. Inspire us to banish forever hatred, war, and bloodshed. Help us to establish forever one human family united in peace. God of peace, bless us with peace.
Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ve'tov b'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'kol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Now is a good time to take a moment to try to have a little private talk with God. Listen carefully, because I think you're going to get an answer tonight.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך, לפניך. אדוני צורי, צורי וגואלי. אדוני צורי וגואלי.
Amen. I don't know, even if you say that you're draining, it still sounds beautiful. I'm always thankful you're here, and we don't thank you enough. Thank you. That was beautiful. At this point in our service, our hearts and our prayers turn to those who are ill or recuperating as we turn to the inside back cover of our prayer book. Included in our list today for healing and recuperation are Carl Baggy and Jenny Boras, Kerry Bollinger, David DeFatta, Arnie Farrer, Jill Fixler, Tracy Gold, Val Gold, Martin Goldstein, Tina Holloway, Susan Israel, Lou Lewis, Sister Mary Joan, Richard Kelly, Adam Miller, Jim Miller, Jada Wynn, Steve Parker, Cindy Rabinowitz, Justin Rutkowski, Andy Shaw, Joanne Smith, Phyllis DePongzi, and Stephen Zelanka. If you have other names, I invite you to call them out and add them to our prayers. for all these names, for the names we choose to hold in our hearts and not say out loud. We pray together. Oh God, in our hearts we name those who are facing illness and pain.
We join our prayers with the prayers of all who love them.
Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. We praise you, eternal God, the source of healing and health. Mi sheberach avotenu mikol habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. And we add, Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu. May the one who blessed and protected our ancestors guard all those whom we have entrusted with the responsibility of defending our freedom and protecting us in this country, in the land of Israel, and everywhere they have been called to serve. May they return home safely, and let us say,
Amen.
so what was it that I said we were going to be talking about today? Questions. All right, good. Does anybody know what Torah portion we're in this week? It's a good question, Rabbi. That was a very good question. Ki tetzeh, for when you go out, when you go forth. Does anybody know how many mitzvot, how many commandments do we have altogether? 613. Do you know how many are in this week's Torah portion alone? 72. There are 72 commandments in this week's Torah portion alone. Now, it freaks some people out to think that we have even more than 10. I know, doesn't it? It freaks them out. Except that even the people that freaks out that we have more than 10, they have more than 10. Because even in addition to what we'll call the top 10, we've got, you shall love your neighbor as yourself, neighbor. My neighbor is here. And that's one that I think even those who keep the top 10 keep. Or we talked about, you shall love your eternal God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your being. Is that 3 or is that 1? You're supposed to talk of them. We've mentioned lots of commandments, even in the mitzvot, even in what we pray in our worship service. And there are many that we do and we try to do. Some of the mitzvot that we talk about in our Torah portion this week, some are more obscure than others. And some are things that we'll probably never, ever have to do. And some are things that we may never get to do. There are some Jews who know the commandments and they go out of their way to try to fulfill a commandment that they've never done before. In my house, we would kind of think of it as if it was a video game and there was some kind of points that you wanted to get or a flag you had to capture and you never captured that flag yet. And you would go out of your way to do it, right? Another Pokemon, got to catch them all 613, right? Okay. No, Pokemon. I'm talking mitzvot. She's talking Pokemon, I'm talking mitzvot. Anyway, you get the idea. So, for example, there's one today that is complicated because it says, if you're hungry and you see a mother bird and the mother bird is sitting on some eggs, then you can eat the eggs. You can eat the food in the eggs, but you have to shoo the mother bird away. And so And it tells you why. Most of the time when you have a commandment, it doesn't tell you why. It says, so that your days may be lengthened on this earth, so you can have a long life. And so if you have never been hungry to the point where you had to shoo a mother bird away from a nest to get the eggs, then you may say, I've already done 200 mitzvot already. I'm looking to get as many as I can. Maybe I can go find a mother bird on a nest and try to fulfill that one too. I don't know too many people who do that, who go out of their way for those things. And so some of the commandments that we hear about, even out of the 72 we have in this week, some of them are things that we may never do. Like, does anyone here have a farm where they actually till their own land? Does anybody in this room? So there's a commandment that we learn about in the Torah portion this week that says when we're working the land, when we're tilling it or harvesting it, and if we use our animals to help us harvest the land or till the land, if you have an ox and you have a donkey, you can never tie them together to work. Because if I work my ox, I can get a bunch done. It's a very strong animal. So can't I get more done if I tie my donkey to it? Won't it go farther and more? And the answer is no, it's not fair to either of those animals. The donkey can't go as long and as hard as the ox can. It's a bigger, stronger animal. So the Torah doesn't tell us why you can't do it. It just tells us not to do it. Now, did I have to tell you not to do that, or were you just not going to do it on your own? Most of us, I had a whole week. This whole week, I didn't even try once to tie an ox to a donkey. And so that's part of the problem too. There are all of these commandments out of the 613, or the half of them that we get to do, because most of them have to do with, about half of them have to do with the temple in Jerusalem, which, as you know, I'm thankful isn't standing right at this moment, because I don't want to sacrifice little baby animals. You won't know why. But anyway, there are many commandments, many mitzvot, that we will keep in our lifetime. And there are many that we won't. The part that I like is that even though they're called commandments, we still get to decide sometimes which ones we do and which ones we don't. I've decided that I don't look forward to that one where I have to shoo the mother bird away and eat the eggs from it. I would rather go to the supermarket and get my eggs without shooing anybody away. That's one of those commandments that I may never fulfill out of my 613. That ox and that donkey thing, I don't see that happening. But the thing is that once I know about those commandments, it affects my life forever in other ways. I think about it. I think about if I'm trying to accomplish something, how do I find a way to not tie the ox and the donkey together? In other words, how do I, if I'm teaching a class and I have a weaker student and a stronger student, how do I make it so that the weaker student doesn't feel worse for being weaker and the stronger student doesn't feel held back because of a weaker student? And I think it's the lesson that we learn from the fact that the Torah tells us to do these things. And about shooing a mother bird away. It may have nothing to do with food. It may have to do with decency, how I treat animals, how I treat people. That's part of what I love about Judaism. I love the fact that it's there. I love the fact that these commandments exist. And I love the fact that we don't have to just do them the way that they are, that they teach us lessons about our lives. So my question to you is, would you have known about the ox and the donkey and the shooing the mother bird away if I hadn't told you about them tonight? I'm not sure that everybody gets a chance to learn about those Torah lessons unless you're studying Torah, unless you're working at it. And you can't really do that on your own. It's really helpful to have what we call a study buddy and try to sit down and figure out. I bet if you sat down with somebody tonight and you said, what do you think that means to shoo the mother bird away from that? Why would we do that? And I can give you lots of reasons, and maybe you've got other reasons. And that's where I say, ask the questions, because sometimes questions are more important than answers. But I love the fact that we can take a bunch of answers from the same question. So keep looking, keep digging, keep trying to find those commandments. Believe it or not, there have been times when people have told me that they don't like it if I talk about the Torah portion of the week. Because if they want to hear about the Torah portion, they can come tomorrow morning. That's my commercial for tomorrow. We have a wonderful Torah study session. I think we should call it Torah discussion, because we discuss. We have multimedia. We have all kinds of things. And you get to hear about this. And it's kind of fun to talk about it. But otherwise, figure out a way in your lives to hear about some of these commandments, because it's how we think and what we question and what we do. That's wonderful. Having said that, with the guy with the answers, I'm going to call up Mr. President, Dr. Donald Posner, to tell us what's going on this week. You got questions. He's got answers.
I've got some answers.
Well, good. Me too.
First of all, Shabbat Shalom, y'all. Thank you. And I want to thank the blessers, Debbie and Herb, for performing admirably. We want to, we have something special for the birthdays and anniversaries. We're going to do this in a second. Tomorrow morning, we're having Tot Shabbat from 9 to 9:30. The rabbi will tell a story, and the service is designed for pre-readers to sing and be active. Sunday school starts this Sunday, 9:30 to 12. Registration forms are online or in the office. Also this week, the Bet Hebrew class begins Wednesday at 3:30, and the Aleph class begins next Sunday at 8:30. Next Friday night, we're going to have an Israeli artist, Mali Dekalo, will speak and do a presentation at services. Art will be on exhibit at the Meadows Museum through October the 25th. 2 weeks from tonight, September the 19th, we will have a joint service with the Gudath Achim. Welcome the Byrd High School class of 1964, who will be in town for their 50th reunion. Remember that Rosh Hashanah starts Wednesday evening, September the 24th. Services begin at 7:30. The memorial books for this high holidays, the forms are due by Wednesday. We also have the forms out for the donor wall inscriptions, and they're due by Yom Kippur, but the sooner you get them in the office, the better. The forms are available online in the bulletin or at the office. If you need help with the wording on the for your plaque, please contact the office of the rabbi. Donations were made for the pulpit flowers in loving memory of Marvin Rabinowitz from the Mike Rabinowitz family. That's all the announcements. But I want to thank everybody who came last Saturday night for the Kallenberg Bat Mitzvah. I appreciate that. It was very well attended, and all of you went out of your way to come for a nice evening, Saturday evening service, and it was very nice. So thanks for coming, and like I said, there's lots going on here. If you need anything, read the bulletin. Thank you.
That's right. And a lot of people commented, of those who came, that they loved having a Havdalah ceremony together, but know that we have one scheduled for our congregation this month when we do the Slichot services, the Saturday evening before Rosh Hashanah starts, we'll do Slichot services. At this point, I would like to invite, and I'm sorry, I'm looking at this. Did everybody get your bulletin finally? My bulletin came today, but it was torn to shreds with one of those envelopes that say, "We're sorry, we really love you. We didn't mean to tear up your bulletin. We know how hard you worked on it." I don't know what they said, but I don't see too many people in this room. I see a few people who have birthdays or anniversaries this month, so I invite everybody with birthdays and anniversaries to come up, and I need 4 strong people to come and help me hold the chuppah up so that we can bless everybody under there. Come on, birthdays, I know who you are. Let's move this up here. Sorry? I know. We know that. We got a bunch of people. Here comes Lionel. It's his birthday. Whoa, hold on. Let's see. Are we out of order? Here, you take this one. Crash. And you take this one. Come here, Lionel. Wait, do I have to call you up? I thought I saw somebody else here. And I know, Dudu, you coming up and representing your anniversary? Jules, you coming up and representing your anniversary? Come on up. It's your anniversary this month. You want to represent your kids? You could do that. You want to represent your friends? We'll let you do that. But we have lots of people with birthdays this month, and we will let these people represent us for that and get to celebrate with you. Come on up and help. You're in there. It's your anniversary this month. Do you remember your anniversary? Do you remember your anniversary? The 22nd, right? So that's what you're here for. God of days and of years, author of life, our times are in your hand. We thank you for the blessing of life and for all that enriches our lives. We gather this Shabbat in special thankfulness to share in the happiness of our friends with birthdays and anniversaries this month. Be with them always as the joy of their lives. May they be blessed with health and happiness and with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow. May we have the joy of coming together for many more years, united by mutual reverence and love. Then will our lives be filled with abundance of blessing. And we say together, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehecheanu, v'kiyamanu, v'higianu lazman hazeh. We praise you, Adonai, our God. You're the sovereign of the universe. You give us life, you sustain us, and you enabled us to reach this special time. Mazel tov, everybody.
Mazel tov, yeah.
I am going to invite, we can put this down. I'm going to invite everybody I'm not going to make anybody here get up on the bima. I'm going to invite everybody who's under the age of 13 to please come up and help me. That includes you. Yes, it does, Garrett. If you're under the age of 13, please come up. Everyone else is going to be turning to page 148. And those of us who are under 13 are going to open the ark for us up here. Everybody else is turning to 148. When the ark is open, please rise. Let's see what's in there. What do you think is in there? Torahs. Where's your sister? Open the ark. She's under 13. She has to come. This is embarrassing. You want to open this? Go ahead. Open. Little Torahs too. I love that. Ready?
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
When all the arks are closed, let's see if we can do this in order. Boom and boom. We need some cushions over there. Okay, ready? Everybody help? This is an honor. I hope you remember that we honor you for coming. And when the arks are closed, everybody may be seated. Anybody? Thank you. Honor. High-low. Thank you. Another one. You give it back. We continue on page 150. The day will come when all shall turn with trust to you, O God, hearkening to your voice, bearing witness to your truth. Please join me. We pray with all our hearts, let violence be gone. Let the day come soon when evil shall give way to goodness, when war shall be forgotten, and all at last shall live in freedom. O source of life, may we, created in your image, embrace one another in friendship and in joy. Then shall we be one family, and then shall your sovereignty be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. The eternal God will reign forever and ever. On that day, O God, you shall be one, and your name shall be one. Bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. I am very grateful, and we are very blessed to have no one to report who died this week serving this country, serving Israel. May these weeks continue such as this. There is a saying in Judaism that the angels are watching over us on Shabbat. And when they peek in our windows on Shabbat evening, if they see a happy family having Shabbat, we're having a Shabbat service or having a Shabbat dinner, then hopefully the next week it will be just the same. And that's supposed to be encouraging us, because those of us who are here, hopefully we have a wonderful Shabbat next week. Hopefully we have no casualties report again and again next week. And it's thanks to you and your efforts for being here this week that we pray that those angels will be watching and make sure that happens again. We continue on page 151. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. I invite you to turn to page 153. In nature's ebb and flow, your eternal law abides. As you are our support in the struggles of life, so also are you our hope in death. In your care, O God, are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Your power gives us strength. Your love comforts us. O life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts. Fill us with trust in you and turn us again to the tasks of life. And may the memory of our loved ones inspire us to continue their work for the coming of your sovereign rule. However brief may be our time on earth, O God, you endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. We now recall the loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, as we recall Evelyn Kern, Kenneth Pittman, and Sylvia Katz. And as we remember those who died at this season in years past, we take them into our hearts with our own. Those for whom we're observing Yortzites this week in our congregational family include Ivan, is it Binder or Binder? Binder. I think I always get that wrong. Thank you. Ivan Binder, Albert Clark, Jeanette Ginsburg Desmond, Harry Goodman, Sidney L. Harold, Morris Horn, Pearl Cooper Crandall, Carol Larricade, James M. Manheim, Esther Morris, Goldie Morris, Louise Shaw Olive, Marvin Rabinowitz, Isidore Rosenfield, and Sam Vedlitz. Does anyone else have anyone who we needed to call out? Did you lose someone in the last month? That's a good idea. Correspondence. He was that his title or journalist? What do we call him? Okay. That's very good. I'm glad we said that because that's true. That was a loss this week. And we didn't include that in the list of the soldiers because he wasn't a soldier. Thank you for that. Did you have a loss? When did he die? Oh, very sorry for your loss. Very sorry. Does anyone else have immediate relative who died in the past month? Or a family member, a parent who died in the past year? Let's call your mom. Deborah Richardson. For all these names, and you know that the Reformed tradition is that there are many people who have no one left to remember to honor their memories. And the Reform movement has chosen to stand, and that's why we usually stand. And we say, in this moment of memory, our griefs and sympathies are mingled. Loving God, we rise together as we praise your name. The Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 154, or if you prefer in English, it's on 155. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv, v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudisha b'richu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'lechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. Please be seated. I think we need something like an Ein Kelohenu to send us on our way today. We turn to page 159. There's none like our God. It's a great closing song, and we know it. Page 159.
Let's get a little louder. There we go.
Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Kadonenu, Mi Kemalkenu, Mi Kemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Can I please ask those of you who are under the age of 13 to please come and help us? Bless thee, Chala. because we would all like to enjoy some food at the Oneg Shabbat. Would you hold on to the bottom of this, please? Look how cute that is. That's still a Bethany Sorky special, and you know that we've got a special day this month where we're going to be learning how to make the round challahs for the High Holy Days. So if you want to get a round challah, you want to learn how to make it, please join us. And ladies and gentlemen, ready, go. Hamotzi. Our voices
Sing song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ha'otzim lachem min haaretz v'tei avon.
Amen. Everybody grab some. I got the plate. Everybody take some. That's okay. Take. Everybody's got. Look at that. No matter how big, how small, everybody gets a piece.
Oh, just pass this around.
Oh, good idea. Thank you. Everyone else, please rise for a closing benediction. I love being the rabbi here because I love the questions that people ask me here. I love coming here. Look at this. Did you turn around and you see how many people are here on a Friday night in the middle of Elul? What a blessing it is that we get to be here together to worship together. Make sure that before you leave, you say hello to somebody that you didn't come in with. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the light of God's countenance shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face always be lifted to you. May God grant you peace. Shabbat shalom. Come join us at the Oneg Shabbat.